China disowns ambassador's remarks questioning Ukrainian independence.
Here's a summary of the article.
China has distanced itself from the remarks of one of its envoys who questioned the sovereignty of Ukraine and other former Soviet countries. Mr. Liu responded by suggesting that the issue was not clear-cut, and that countries such as Ukraine could not rely on international law to defend their sovereignty. Even these former Soviet countries don't have an effective status under international law because there is no international agreement under international law to concretize their status as sovereign countries, he said. In a speech days before the start of Russia's invasion last year, he denied Ukraine had any real statehood, and said the country was an integral part of Russia's history and culture. On Monday, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Mao Ning rejected Mr. Liu's position, saying Beijing respected the sovereignty, independence and territorial integrity of all countries and upheld the purposes and principles of the United Nations Charter. Lithuanian Foreign Minister Gabrielius Landsbergis said, quoted by AFP, that the diplomats would be asked to explain if the Chinese position had changed on independence and reminded that we're not post-Soviet countries but we're the countries that were illegally occupied by Soviet Union. The three countries were seized by the USSR in 1940 and only achieved independence in 1991 as it was collapsing.
This post received a score of 4,300, with an upvote ratio of 96%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
It wasn't just Ukrainian independence, it was all former Soviet states. The quote,
Russia is a former Soviet member. The last one was Kazakhstan, maybe someone in the Kremlin called Xi.
China has been trying to gain influence over Central Asian, former Soviet, states. This caused a problem with them. Most importantly, these non-independent states have UN membership. Therefore there would be no reason for non-independent Taiwan not to have UN membership as well.
Liu She's statement is doubly absurd because PRC signed a 2013 friendship treaty with Ukraine. The treaty not only recognizes Ukraine's sovereignty, but pledges a wide range of security guarantees including an unusual nuclear umbrella pledge.
Greater than later, the Chinese embassy in Paris said in a statement quoted by AFP that Mr. Liu's remarks were a personal point of view and should not be overinterpreted. I'm actually surprised they forced him to walk back his comments in such an embarrassing manner that is akin to saying he failed at his job. Usually they would just pretend it never happened. Maybe he's not as well connected as he thought he was.
When your ambassador make internationally news in bad ways, of course, you throw him under the bus. China is near multiple former Soviet Union countries. They probably noticed it and didn't appreciate it. Chinese diplomats implicitly adopting Russian talking points would be a great way to send a lot of smaller, unaligned countries to start looking at the US, EU, Japan, etc. for support, and be far more concerned about letting China have too much influence inside their own borders. China has its own set of interests which don't cleanly align entirely with anyone else's.
Your last sentence I'm glad you wrote out here.
To be fair to the ones who'd rather not see the nuance, China is shooting itself at their feet with that peculiar attitude of theirs.
I have contemplated several times since and perhaps still might. Nations that are allied with who about what these days? America understands well and responds well to overt. My comment was this was exactly how China is surrounding many nations as we speak. He needs to be expelled. I can't believe he would come out and question the legitimacy of other countries including NATO members.
Because he said the quiet part out loud? Or it's just more likely he went off script? It's not like China has anything to gain from making this their official position, Occam's razor and all that.
Finally someone applying logic to this. The conspiracy theories are just wild. They wanted to test the waters? By dipping their toe in lava? What sane person would expect anything other than the current response?
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.